We are live. Yes, we can start.
Recording.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this meeting of Young Indian Theosophists Group. As you all know, today's meeting is a talk on vision, idols, and serenity from the book As a Human Thinketh by James Allen. So before starting the talk, let us sit in meditation. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he's also one with every other. Come back, everyone, and thank you for joining. Our speaker for the day, as you all know, is Brother Varun. Brother Varun has done Masters in Mechanical Engineering. He has more than 12 years of experience in automotive industry. He was introduced to Theosophy by family, and his grandparents were initially the members. He has participated in youth conference organized in Adyar in the year 2018 and 19. In 2018, the theme was yoga, and he presented the topic on Gyan Yoga. In 2019, theme was meditation and human regeneration, and he presented on scientific studies and effects of practicing meditation. With this, I would request Brother Varun to deliver his talk. Over to you, Brother Varun.
Thank you, Kritika. I'll share my screen.
Should I share?
No. Is it visible?
Okay, yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, is it visible?
No, it's a black screen.
Now?
We can see all the other notifications, but not the text.
Okay, then maybe, yeah, you can share. I have sent the update.
Yes, I should. Is it visible?
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So today's topic is chapter 6 and 7, visions and ideals and serenity. Yeah, as you all know, it's from a book called As a Human Thinketh from James Allen. It's kind of linked as usual to all the previous chapters, and coming to an end, it kind of summarizes everything that is based on thought. And we've seen what all has happened in the last three sessions by Gomatiji, Vimalji, and Pradeep. This also goes, it's in a similar fashion. So let's see what is being said here, and what are the takeaways, and how we can overall, as this this 7 chapters. So what's the takeaway from these 6 or 7 chapters? We will go ahead. We will start. You can go to the next slide, Kritika. So visions and ideals. So visions. Generally, how do we define a vision or an ideal? So vision is something we set up. We have some idea, and we work towards that vision. And ideal is something we set up in our mind, which is not something very vivid, but we plan to work towards that ideals. We believe on some ideas or some principles, and we try to, which is not very vivid, it's not very clear in our mind. It evolves over time, but something is there, very vivid, which towards that which we work in everybody's life. It may be anybody, a kid or adult, anybody. So that's the broad, very simplistic dictionary meaning if you take of visions and ideals. So that is how it is. So we will see what James Allen has to say as about these two words, visions and ideals, and how it works for every individual. So first paragraph, it's very important, and it may give you many aspects to view, to understand. I also felt it's very interesting. So he says the dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so men, through all their trials and sins and sordid vocations, are nourished by the beautiful visions of their solitary dreamers. Humanity cannot forget its dreamers. It cannot let their ideals fade and die. It lives in them. It knows them as they realities which it shall one day see and know. So the dreamers are the saviors of world. It's very interesting. So as the visible world is sustained by the invisible. Here, even I had many thoughts. Easy talking about all the great dreamers, or the great, what you can say, the inventors, or the people who have set something behind for the entire humanity to look at them, and take them as the vision, take them as their vision and ideals, and in the same way develop themselves, seeing those ideal persons, or the dreamers who have set some standard and worked towards that relentlessly and contributed something to this humanity. There are so many people we can give examples of in any country, in any part of the world. So is he meaning the dreamers? Is he meaning that it is those persons, or is generally telling that it can be any individual? So that is one question which I also had. But whatever may be the case, the dreamers are the saviors of the world, because he says the visible world is sustained by the invisible. The invisible, it may be those invisible persons who is not there with us today, but who have set the visions and ideals, and as individuals, how we are following them. So it may be that. And we can see so many examples. In fact, he himself gives 2 examples in the next paragraph. He quotes example of Columbus and Copernicus. So they were the dreamers who achieved what they dreamed. They just didn't dream, so they relentlessly worked towards that dream. They didn't allow it to fade or die. So humanity you know, all the failures, they would have gone through a lot of failures, but in each failure, it has nourished something. The nourishment, there is something that they have learned and nourished, but the back end is the vision and whatever the purpose with which they started to dream. So that they kept it alive. They managed to kept it alive throughout the lifetime, and they could achieve what they really dreamt of. So they didn't allow it to fade or die. So that is what makes dreamers very special. So three examples we give. One of Columbus, Copernicus, and Buddha. Most of you know what Columbus did. He went out to sail with 4 ships to find out actually a route for a trade route towards India or China, so that things can be moved easily. But finally ended up, discovering U.S. America. Copernicus is again referred to as a modern father of astrology or whatever you can say. So he for the first time, I think, said that Earth revolves around the sun and sun is the center. Although there are various theories that who discovered it first or second, but yeah, this is one of the examples. And third, he gives the example of Buddha. So how he beheld the vision of a spiritual world of stainless beauty and perfect peace, and he entered into it. So how he did so. We can go on and on. We can give a lot of examples. In general, if you have to speak, you can in India. If you have to take example, you can take a lot of examples. You can take example of Jamshedji Tata or any sports person for that matter. So they have a vision, they have a purpose. So imagine the situation of 1903, 1905, that age, right, when Jamshedji Tata had a vision to set up Tata a steel plant, where the whole of the country was just thinking about getting freedom from Britishers. So he had something which was beyond that time, which people could think beyond that time, that age, right? So he had a vision which others could not have. And that vision was not more a personal one, it was something which was related to the humanity, to a greater society. And today we can see what that vision and what that purpose has actually turned out. It has turned out. You can see the examples of you can see Jamshedpur, right? So many people today um, are living the entire city or entire country, and you can see the even 60% of your Tata's trust, right? All that goes to your CSR activities throughout India. It may be the Memorial Hospital in Mumbai or a Cancer Institute in Kolkata, and many things. They adopted so many villages. So the vision of one man, uh, it translates to many years. Even though he is not with us today, they can never be forgotten. History, humanity can never forget what they have contributed. Uh, they have contributed society, but in the process, they also, encouraged. They are become an example for so many youths even today. They talk of Jamshedji Tata, his character, his values, So, and take even the thing that distinguishes them is that purpose. They had a very clear purpose, no second thoughts. They had a very clear purpose, and they made their own route to achieve that purpose. So 1905, people are struggling to get independence. About Jamshedji Tata goes to, there are so many political issues whether Britishers will allow something like that to happen, because when a factory is set up, so many people get job, and because of that, they lose control. So there are so many thoughts, but he went, took the help of Britishers, started that. There may be many roadblocks which we don't realize today. But he went through all that, and he could do what others did not think of that age. Similarly, sports, again, the thing that differentiates, as I said, is the purpose. And whatever may be the situation, they held on to it. So that is only. So when when we generally discuss, right, we all have alumni meets. So when we all meet after some 10, 15 years, 20 years, when we talk and we meet all our friends, general discussion is, what was your purpose? Are you happy in life? And when this question comes, and there will be very few people who say, I'm happy and I'm doing the work that I really like. So it's very few percent, maybe 15, 20% of the people actually agree that I am really doing what I like. Uh, uh, I'm really happy. The rest of all will be like, I'm working because I have to work. So that is the that will be the intention. I work because I have to take care of my family. I'm not really happy. So you see, any general discussion. So this would be the percentage may vary slightly up and down, but most of us that is because we do not have a clear purpose. So those who have clear purpose, they really work toward it. So in this group, just take an example. In this group, so how many of us have a very clear purpose? How many of us know that this year we need to do this, 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 and we set up in Jan we set up goals, no, and at the end of December, maybe out of 10, maybe one or two only we could achieve, or in some cases even not even that one or two may not be possible. So what happens? So what happens is that purpose is there, but it is not strong enough, and it is getting faded away due time. It may reasons may be various reasons. Most of you know. Uh, so this is what in the last three chapters when we look at what all a thought can do, and these are the things that we can take away. And I think it's continuing this in these two chapters also. We'll see what it says. You can go to next slide. Yeah. Meanwhile, yeah. Yeah. So to desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. So you know, we all know there's a very small difference. Desire and aspire. Sometimes people look at both as one. It's not. It's actually it's actually very different. Aspiration is desire. We all know it may be an whatever we like, whatever we desire, and we work towards that to obtain. Aspiration is something you set up a goal and you accomplish that goal. It may be a personal accomplishment, or it may be a spiritual accomplishment, or something which the humanity deserves. So, what gets more visibility? Personal accomplishment, yes, we all will have a goal. We all set up goals personally. It may be professional, or it may be a personal goals. We all achieve that, but are we happy with that? So we always tend to set up once we achieve that, there is always a higher step, what to do next. So that question is there. So in that way, that happiness is there of accomplishing, but it is all temporary. uh, because we are more concentrated when it is individualistic, we are more concentrated on ourselves first. So when it becomes the other way, when your accomplishment is uh, in the betterment of the humanity in any respect, it may be a small deed, the sense of satisfaction, the sense of happiness that you get out of that is much 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 higher than what we achieve as an individual. So when your aspiration is something outwards of yourself towards the society, whatever little thing, it may be a small thing that you accomplish, but you have that satisfaction, right? That level of satisfaction is way higher, and the way things work out in your mind is completely different. The way thoughts work when you're working for yourself, and when you have a vision for a society, when you have a vision to do something small or big to the humanity, the way you think, you can see it's very different. One very common example that I would like to give is when people talk, we always say, "What is your name? What do you do?" Start up a discussion when we meet a new people, right? So when you see what is your name, what do you do? So these are the common questions to start off conversation. So when you look at people who are very aspirational, they when they say what do you do, they are very clear of what they're doing, and they start discussing with everyone. It may be a new person, it may be an old person, it may be a kid, it may be an adult. They do not discriminate anything. They whatever they have in their thoughts, they start to tell out, they start to discuss, so that they feel that I can take something from others' learning, or I can improve upon whatever suggestions or whatever things that they do. This is one of the things that they commonly give any management tool. They say whatever you have as a vision, don't hold it for yourself. You discuss with that. Whenever such questions come, you discuss what do you really want to do, what do you aspire, so that you may not be able to work out everything for yourself, but there are people around you who might have experienced that, who might tell you that. So that thought, if it is shareable, if that makes the difference between a successful a person who has a very good vision, who has a very good purpose to achieve something. He always keeps that as a central idea, and he keeps those central idea in his mind. He keeps discussing that with everyone, so that that thought is alive in his mind. That thought does not fade away, or it does not die. Usually, what happens with most of us is we set goals in January, and over time we give a lot of reasons, and that purpose is lost because it fades away, because we do not keep that thought as a central idea in our mind day in, day out. We take other things as priority and we move on. But what really makes us feel happy is there, but we are not feeding it. We are not discussing it. We are not keeping that thought alive. So that is the main difference. For example, any sportsman who's preparing for Olympics, right? 4 years he has to struggle for an event which may be 5 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour. 4 years he has to practice. So he may undergo a lot of injuries, he may undergo a lot of other pressures, but he does not fade away. His purpose, it does not fade away. It's not very easy. As I said, in this group, if we say what is the purpose of, like, how many of us can really say that in the next 5 years, so this is a thing. It's very clearly we have to say. We all will have purpose, but how many of us are very clear, very strong? How many of us can keep that purpose alive for the next 4 years? It's very, very difficult. It's very easy to tell. We do it professionally. The other catch here is we work as individuals, right? We work for companies. We do the same thing there. We do the same thing very perfectly. Our vision at professional life is very clear. So this year, the company allots this much work, and I have to do this, and I will do that. But the same thing we fail to do it in our personal life. I think most of you can relate this. You can also think of that. Any corporate or anybody for that matter who is working in any sector, it does not necessarily be a corporate. We work in a professional life. We apply the same principles perfectly. In our personal life, we fail miserably. Actually, very few, very few actually achieve. So next is, your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. So there is every human being has a vision, and once that vision, that purpose is clear, so he mentally builds up an ideal condition of life. So he works towards that. He gives here an example of one young boy who is very, who is not educated and who is very, very poor. In this same article, in the same chapter. So but he has a vision. He has a vision of being a better person of what is today, and he has a vision of contributing something to the humanity. And whatever free time, he is a poor guy, he is a poor kid, and he is not educated, but still he is working somewhere to make his life, to feed his family. But in between all this, he finds time to work out what he is imagining in his mind, what he has determined, what his real purpose is. And he gives the same example. In his free time, he works out on this, and finally, he keeps gathering, he keeps nourishing, which each experience with as it spends time, right? He is learning something, and that is the nourishment for his purpose. So, and as a young boy, as he starts growing as an adult, he is building up each time is building up mentally his ideal condition of life and is working towards that. So finally, what happens is that ideal becomes him. So there is no, as he was growing up,
Maybe his signal is weak.
I thought my signal was gone.
so this is the catch. So this is a very interesting point that he's telling. Usually, what happens?
Brother Varun, could you just repeat last couple of sentences because we could not hear you due to signal?
Yeah, yeah. This example of a young man, what he gives, that was clear. So he was poor, he was not educated, but he had an ideal, he had a vision, he had a purpose. So he was working towards that, and each experience would nourish him mentally. He would build mentally, it would nourish him, and he could work on what really made him happy, what really makes him happy, and his thought was always on the contribution towards the humanity, towards the society. So the young man, as he was growing up, so with experience, with all that nourishment, his mind, he could achieve what he felt, what his purposes are, what his ideals were. So here the difference is, as he was growing up, he was different and his ideal was different. There were two different things. We all have an ideal. We all have a vision. So until we achieve that vision, there are two separate things. But once we achieve that, once we achieve that ideal, once we reach that ideal thing, we are not separate from that ideal. We become one with that ideal because we have achieved what we have really wanted to achieve. So it's no more two different things. Myself and my vision, so both are achieved. So that human becomes one with the ideal. So that is what he emphasizes. And most of us failure. We always have a vision, but that vision will always be there. We never reach that ideal. We never reach that ideal condition. We always have that vision. We always have that idea. Oh, I need to be like this, and we sort out our way to work towards that. But somewhere we have not really reached. Until we reach that, we are actually separate from our ideal. So once very few people they know this knack of having an ideal and achieving that ideal and meeting that ideal. So they are the one who makes the difference to the society. So they are the dreamers. So that is what he refers to the first slide. So where there are no two things, that person himself and ideal is no more two things, he is just one. So that is one example he gives. And with that he says, and you too, youthful reader, will realize the vision of your heart, be it base or beautiful or a mixture of both, for you will always gravitate towards that which you secretly most love. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn. No exact, no exact result, no exact result of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Whatever your present environment may be, you will fail, remain, or rise with your thoughts, your vision, your ideal. You will become as small as your controlling desire or as great as your dominant aspiration. So it is all left to us. So that's what everything that whatever examples we gave of sports person, so that is what they did. So you will become as small as your controlling desire. So it is all left to us. So, or the opposite is also as great as your dominant aspiration. So how we work towards that, how we keep it alive until that is achieved. So that thing makes the difference. So, so we need to question ourselves. So here is what he ends the first chapter, the ideals and visions. So this is how he ends. In all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results, and the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. It's very straightforward, right? Chance is not. Gifts, powers, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are the fruits of effort. They are thoughts completed, objects accomplished, visions realized. Very beautiful, right? So there are efforts. As an individual, as a human is born, he will have desires. He will have some visions. Uh, he will put some efforts, and based on that effort, there are definitely he will get some results. But catch here is the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. This is very clear. So we can see again. You can take those same examples and compare Jamshedji Tata, any sports person. You say you take the example of PT Usha in 1980s, 1990s. Those time a woman competing in an athlete. You can imagine she is from a remote village in Kerala, and she could. What are the efforts that she went through? Only she knows. And people who do not realize that say, oh, she got a chance. Maybe at that time there are no more women athletes, so that is how she got a chance. So people who do not realize, so this is the way they think. People who are very successful in business say, "Oh, life has given them such a beautiful chance. So whatever he tries, he achieves." So it is actually not that. What has gone behind that person's what efforts that he has put. Very few realize. Only that person who has put that effort realizes. But the others, they find reasons, or they start giving excuses that okay, this is by chance, or this is by luck. So these are the things that uh, fades away. So we always start thinking, okay, this is for few people only. This is not for me. I am an ordinary person. It is nothing like that. It is only we are diminishing our purpose. We are allowing our purpose, our visions to die off. It is nothing to do with one person being successful, and we think that okay, everybody in the society cannot be like him. It is all again our thoughts. Everybody can be like that, but it all depends on us. So the vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by, and this you will become. So this is how he ends. I think we need to give it a thought. As I said, we need to answer some basic questions. Am I audible? We need to
Yes.
set. It does not mean that okay, we need to set our purpose. So from 5 years from now on, it may be professional, it may be spiritual, it may be personal. We need to set that purpose right first. So that that stimulates that action. That action again comes from thought. So it is how we keep that thought alive until we achieve that. So generally, people fail here. We fade away. We fade away that purpose. We give reasons, and we dilute that purpose. So that is why we never achieve anything. 80% of the society, 80% of the people are like this. And so that is why initially he says this world is for dreamers. So, and he gives examples of so many poets, so many people who have worked on literature like Shakespeare, poets. So they dreamt and they had that vision, that purpose. So they gave so much literature, so much of things to think about. And even today, we refer to them. We refer to them as the ideal person, or we refer to them as an individual. So these are the values you set. So can I also work towards that? So this is the way we work. So it's possible for everyone. So that is what he is very clearly saying. So it all depends on our thoughts and our purpose and how we stay it alive, keep it alive until we achieve that. Yeah, so this is on the visions and ideals. So next slide. Yeah, here he talks about serenity. Serenity, when we look at the dictionary meaning, it It says the state of being calm. So he starts off that calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is the result of long and patient effort in self-control. Its presence is an indication of ripened experience and of a more than ordinary knowledge of the laws and operations of thought. You see, any great achiever, any great dreamer. So one of the qualities that we can clearly distinguish from most of the others is the state of being calm. They're very calm. They do not panic. It does not mean that only this works when they are under pressure. So even in their attitude, in their face expression, also you can see that calmness. Even when they are talking normally, any normal discussion that they're having with anybody, you can clearly sense this calmness in them. So that's what he says. It's one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. So it is a result of long and patient effort in self-control. This is very clear. Again, here, long and patient effort. So again, most of us failure. It's a continuous process, and how long can we put into practice this patience, or how long can we sustain this patience? Right? It's difficult. It's a difficult thing, but this is one quality that distinguishes the people who are more successful, or people who have contributed something to humanity. So this is what we can say. So again here, it needs not of patience. So patience again means, again when we refer it to the previous chapters, it needs continuous sustained effort. So other than that, there is no alternative. So how long can we keep it without fading away? So how long we can sustain? So that is what makes a difference. So a man becomes calm in the measure that he understands himself as a thought evolved being. For such knowledge necessitates the understanding of others as a result of thought, and as he develops a right understanding and he sees more and more clearly the internal relations of things by the action of cause and effect, he ceases to fuss and fume and worry and grieve, and remain poised, steadfast, and serene. Again, this is also straightforward. I think most of our lectures, most of our discussions, this is a common point which we end up this clarity. And once we know the cause and effect, we call it karma. But I think James, maybe he's an European, so he's referring to the same as cause and effects, but it's much beyond cause and effects. We all realize that, we all know that. So again, it's the same thing. The same thing that everything comes upon you. When you look at this entire chapter or entire book, right, all these 4 chapters, when you put together, you will see that it is very simple to understand. It makes us think 2, 3 levels more deeper. I've given it a simplistic view of something very big. We feel that it is very simple to understand. But the bigger purpose of this, we can all relate. We all have read of so many things about masters, about initiation. So all these things are related. It looks simple: calmness, serenity. It talks about thoughts, purposes, visions, ideals, which everybody can understand. But the bigger picture, when we can relate, I did not want to deviate much on this initiations, on this masters. Anyway, he mentions on one of the paragraphs about masters. And what I think in the next slide I'll show that. But I think that is a bigger purpose. So we can relate. We need to connect the dots. It looks very simple, straightforward, but the bigger purpose, if we understand and we work towards it really practically, so that is where we can definitely see the difference. So as humanity surges with uncontrolled passion, in tumultus with ungoverned grief, is blown about by anxiety and doubt only the wise man. Only he whose thoughts are controlled and purified makes the winds and storms and makes the winds and the storms of the soul obey him. So again, for the first time, I think he is mentioning the word soul here. Mm. He clearly says that humanity suffers with uncontrolled passion. Uncontrolled passion, ungoverned grief is blown away by anxiety and doubt only the wise man. So only he whose thoughts are controlled and purified makes the winds and the storms of the soul obey him. So now we need to, so this is where we need to realize the bigger picture of this thing. So he talks about soul. Maybe you can go to the next slide. There are two very good points here. Yeah, one more point. There's one more point. So this is the last paragraph. So this is how he ends. So the tempest-tossed souls, wherever ye may be, under whatsoever conditions you may live, know this is the ocean of life. The isles of blessedness are smiling, and the sunny shore of your ideal awaits your coming. Keep your hands firmly upon the helm of thought. In the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does not sleep. Wake him. So self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Say unto your heart, peace, be still. So here again he talks of how to keep your hands firm upon the helm of thought. Whatever you think for the better, not it may be individual. We all have an individual desire, individual vision, purpose. So that is also fine. But that gives us happiness when we individually achieve something. We set a purpose, and we put our roadmap. We achieve something professionally, spiritually, personally. It definitely gives, but it definitely gives some happiness. But as I was saying initially, when the question comes, are you happy in life? When you achieve this purpose, answer may be yes, I'm happy in life. But but there is something more that I can do. It's only 20%, as I said, I can really say that whatever I am doing is really what I really wanted to do, and this is giving me the ultimate satisfaction. Well, the very few can say that. No, very boldly, very few can say that. So then, what is the way out? Personal gains, personal purpose, personal achievements. Yes, it is definitely important. It is that also helps us in keeping our thoughts centralized. But when the focus is on the outside of us, when the focus is on the betterment of the humanity, it may be a very small thing, it may be a big thing, it may be a small thing. That's what, when it is away from you, that your contribution is helping someone in the society, so that gives satisfaction, which a personal achievement or a personal goal, when you wish, it does not give. So you have your personal goals, no doubt, but you also think of the other side, what you can contribute towards the society. Keep that as a centralized thought. Keep discussing with people around you, and you will automatically see, when you keep that idea centrally, when you keep discussing that idea with people around you day in, day out. So in a way, you're keeping it alive. That is one thing. By keeping it alive, what you're doing is, so you're discussing, you're getting into action, and those actions, in that discussion, there are a lot of things that you learn, and that learning nourishes you much more, to keep that thought centralized. It does not make you fade away. So that is the big difference. So don't distinguish that this person may help, this person may not help, he may not know this, he may not know that. So don't distinguish. Be open of your ideas. You keep discussing. So that keeps your thoughts alive, and that drives your action. So once these things are these things are in this is a process. So once that happens, so it works on your personality, it works on your character. So that is what the first few chapters says, right? It talks about thought and character. So when you make this centralized, everything else will fall in. Your thoughts, your actions, your character, everything will start falling into place. So that's what it, keep your hands firmly upon the helm of thought. in the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does not sleep, so wake him. So it's very clear. So this is how. So this is what. This is how he ends. So self-control is strength. So right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Say unto your heart, peace, be still. I think you can go to the next slide. So yeah, so these are the chapters. I just thought of putting it here. So this is what we have learned for the last 4 weeks. Yeah, I think this is the 4th session of this book. Yeah, last 4 weeks. So it all started with thought, character, effect of thought and circumstance, effect of thought on health and body, thought and purpose, the thought factor in achievement, visuals and ideals and serenity. So let's 2 minutes. So let's think of these things. Last 4 weeks, who may be the presenter? So what they have presented. So what we could take away from each of those weeks, each of those presentations. So what was the takeaway, and what was the takeaway, and how you plan to implement that? So how you set your purpose from today. Forget about whatever has happened till today. You might have achieved something, you might not have achieved something personally, spiritually, whatever it may be. But let's start fresh. So 5 years ahead of us. So how you plan your purpose, how you plan to manage your thought alive, how you plan to not only grow personally, professionally, on the other side, think outward on the humanity, how you set and how can you work on that. So these things, you just think over 2 minutes. I know 2 minutes is a very small time, but just reflect upon all this. What are the takeaways from these 4 chapters, and how you plan to implement in your life from today, whatever may be the time, 1 year, 5 years, it does not matter. But to achieve that, how do you keep your thoughts alive? So that is, you have to draw your own no, your own paths, your own roads for that. And how do you work? That is maybe 2 minutes you can reflect upon, then we can discuss on that. Discuss any questions or anything. Yeah. Just close your eyes, 2 minutes, whatever you can, whatever the takeaways, just Kritika, just remind after 2 minutes. Yeah.
Sure, sir. So come back. Thank you so much, Brother Varun. And now I would really like to ask everyone, instead of any questions or answers or suggestions, but I would rather like to ask each one of you that how was that 2-minute experience? What did you come up with? Okay, I see Surlina, I'm raising hand.
Yes, definitely. In these 2 minutes,
You're not audible. Oh, you are audible. Yes.
while I was listening to Varun, the thought process was actually going parallel. He was saying, I was absorbing. My antenna was alert. My brain stopped chattering and moving parallelly with what he says. But in these 2 minutes, what occurred to me, I'll explain. A spark of thought came. There is a fight between my purpose and my excuse. I have to see which is bigger. If my purpose is bigger enough, the excuse cannot stand on the way. If my excuse is bigger enough, probably my purpose is going to die. So it's probably in my hand to see what I'm going to give the bigger push, my purpose or my excuse, because I see around it within me, in my family, people who I work along with, as a manager when I manage people, as a subordinate when I work under a boss. I give excuses, somebody else gives excuses, but probably there's a clash between my purpose and my excuse, and I have to see which is bigger. If that is sorted, I think then I'm sorted. That's what occurred to me. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, Sister Vimal.
Okay. Yeah, the 2 minutes was a brilliant idea. And no, I'm not going to share what is my purpose. Sorry.
No, not your purpose, but I mean, did you realize in 2 minutes, or rather the whole talk, that there is something you need to do, or how can you work upon things?
Yeah, I did. I did realize that what is very important for me and what I have to work towards, what is the most important for me. So definitely, and I think the thing was wonderful, like your visions and your dreams will become your reality, but you have to work towards it. So that was emphasized in this talk. The wonderful examples of Ratan Tata and PT Usha, and how they work towards their goals. And I guess, I mean, the goals that I might have maybe not achievable in this birth, but I'll work towards it. It's fine. So.
Thank you, Sister Vimal. I see Sister Gomti raising hand.
Yes, thank you so much for this wonderful session, Varun. What occurred to me in those 2 minutes was you were talking about vision and ideals and the difference between desire and aspiration. And you also said that in the professional life, our goals are quite clear and we are able to ascertain and probably even achieve our goals, maybe the targets in the workplace. But when it comes to personal life, you mentioned that it is a challenge for most of us. I agree with you on that because for me, it has always been about relationships when it comes to personal life. And I know this one close relationship of mine is not going so well. And after the session, I thought, what is in my capacity? So maybe prayers would help, for the other soul, to be peaceful, or what can I do? So maybe some light can be thrown on how to get our personal life and aspirations even more better. And also the realization was normalcy. Of course, as a child, actually, I feel so free to share it in this group that I was sexually abused as a child by a very close relative of mine. And this pain is still there. I cannot say the pain has become zero, but the intensity has definitely reduced. But how can other people, or other children come to normal life? So people tell me when I take up sessions on child sexual abuse, they tell me normalcy is very difficult, and I also now understand after attending the sessions over here that there is a cause to every effect. So that gives me a larger and deeper understanding of my situation. Probably there was a cause, and probably now that could have been the effect of something probably belonging to an earlier birth, or maybe something that makes me understand the reality of the situation. And how can I improve, as a human being? And that came into my mind, and definitely the intensity of the pain has definitely reduced, was the thought in those 2 minutes that I thought, after being with this particular group especially. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much, Sister Gomti, for sharing.
Yeah, regarding that thing, I think most of you will be surprised. When ma'am gave the example of the sexual abusement, I attended a similar session and I was shocked. I was shocked to listen. There were about 150 participants and maybe some 50, 60 women. And 30 to 40% of the people said the same thing. They were in some way or the other sexually abused when they were young. The catch is when they were young. Yes, it's bad. Everybody accepts it. But we carry that experience even now. It does not fade away. It controls us. It feeds us even today. So what is the effect of that one event on your life today? So today also, generally, those people think men are like this, all men are like this. So this is the general mentality that builds up. That is, it's not, we cannot say that is wrong, because that is the experience. They have faced it. It's not something they have idealized, nothing, right? They have really experienced it, faced that situation, know the difficulty there. So that starts ruling their present life. That starts affecting their present life. That starts affecting the relationships in the present life. So that is what we do not want. Yes, it has happened. So, but as long as you give that thought, you keep that alive, right? It keeps affecting your present life. It does not mean that all men are like that, but it starts working on your mind that, yes, it may be like 80% of the men are like this. They abuse women. So when that is there, your present life, it never ever can go normal. It will always have roadblocks. You will always have something to worry about. So it's very difficult, but we need to come out. We need to stop the past events of our life dictate our present things. Otherwise, we are always in that. We may say that yes, it might have faded away, those experiences. It does not have that kind of an effect now, but surely there will be something, but you need to work on that. It's everybody, it's for everybody. All the childhood memories, bad memories especially, so that is what dictates us. That is what is dictated. Somebody who is very shy, you talk of their experience in the first 6 to 8 years, who does not open up easily. They will all have similar kind of experience. They would all have been bogged down by their parents, or it may be their teachers, or it may be their elder brothers, sisters. So what do you know? You keep quiet. So that thing is there, right? That thing, when you say why you are shy, they themselves might not know. I myself might not know why I am shy. Why do not I open up? So when they take us back to our childhood, tell me some of the experiences. This is what psychologists do. They take us back. So tell me, what are the experiences in your childhood? What you felt was really bad. So that is the thing that still drives us, many of us, but we do not know that those are things that is driving. That is the biggest worry. The events that have happened at 6 years, 8 years, that is driving us today. But we fail to understand that. That is, once we realize, we can work out. But most of us fail to address or look at that root cause itself. So that is the biggest worry. So that is why they say that first 6 to 8 years is very, very important. I think most of you would have read that book, The Absorbent Mind by Maria Montessori. I think everybody should read, a parent or anybody. It talks about the first 8 years, how crucial it is with all scientific experiments. I think there are a lot of books available even in TPH. Maria Montessori. So she was the one who started this Montessori concept, how the thoughts work on children, so how parents should behave, how a society should behave, how a teacher should behave, so what is the role of teacher. So everything is given from a fetus, a stage at the fetus on day 1 till a child grows up to 8 years. Everything is given in detail, very, very scientific, with a lot of experiments, lot of data.
I see Sister Pranchi and Brother Harnath were raising hands. So, yes, Brother Harnath, if you would like to share something. Is he on video?
No, his video is off. Yeah, you
Can
can
I speak?
Okay, now
Yes, yes, yes.
Video is not actually clear. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
So first of all, I would like to thank the team, and I'm greatly obliged to be here and sharing a platform with you all people. And I have a question. Like when I had listened to your entire speech, uh, I felt like the moment I think I'm not immortal, I just, my mind was completely gone blank. Like, what is the purpose of life? Is there any purpose really? And at the point of death, if I see the entire life, what you had said, like it is entirely a struggle to achieve my purpose, to achieve goals, to achieve the visions, everything. It's entirely gone into a kind of struggle. So the moment I think like I'm not an immortal, I felt like completely blank. Like, is there really any purpose for this life, or are we creating, or thought is creating the purpose, or intentionally we are creating a purpose? These are all questions that exactly comes into my mind. And one more question is like how to keep it alive all the time, like. To keep that thought alive all the time till the death, I can say. Is it possible to keep it alive entire your life? So these are the two questions actually that came to mind. Apart from that, it was a great speech, I can say, like the things like you said, desire, instead of desire, aspire, and stay calm, the serenity. These are all things that gives me pleasant feeling. But really, these are the two questions that arise in my mind, which is still going on in my mind. Can you please clarify on these two things?
So when you say purpose, so what kind of a purpose?
So any purpose, like you said, like we should have certain.
Yeah, so you believe that life has a purpose, right? So that idea is clear. So life has a purpose. It's not everybody
I
has
think
a
like life is not a purpose. I think it's just a thing like it happened. I don't know whether there is a purpose, but
everybody will have a purpose. Life has a purpose. We have not simply come here.
so that is the thing. Everybody thinks that there is a purpose for this life, but at the end of the moment, like when you are dying, do you really feel that this life is having a purpose? And can you elaborate that this purpose? Can you say that this is the actual purpose, so that every human being will have to live like this and will have to live in these kind of purposes?
No, it's not like one set of purpose for one individual. So it's not a common.
Can I try to say few of these words which actually occurred in the morning itself? I was talking to Shikharji, if that could really help Harnathji.
Yeah, go ahead.
See, today morning only a very thought came into my mind, which I discussed with Pranchi, then with Shikharji also in the early morning. We say we love doing things, we do a lot of things, and we go to people, meet people, talk to them. We understand everything. I mean, that is our being. We know, we understand our family, we understand our friends, we understand our relatives, we understand our work. If I link to this, somewhere it comes like, I am a person who loves to meet people, who loves to know about people, their being, their purpose, their everything. But somewhere I failed to understand what is me, what is my purpose, because I never met myself. I go and meet 100 of people every day as a professional, as a family man, as a theosophist. What was the last time I met myself? I just asked her also in the morning, when was the last time you met yourself? Meeting yourself means knowing what do you want, knowing what are your aspirations, knowing what are you here for. Because we keep on, knowing, okay, you are a student, your 10th board is coming, you should do it. As a mom, I can tell her. As a wife, I can tell my husband, this is your duty to understand my feelings. No, something like that. Or maybe as a boss, I can say, my subordinate, you are supposed to give these reports on time. Why didn't you do this? We know everything about others' purpose, others' duty, others' services, others' demands. But what is my thing? In the sense, not my this I-ness, but inherently, what is the purpose of my being? When was the last time I analyzed? When was the last time I met myself actually? I think the journey would probably start from there. Then only it will open up. We know everything about others. I know about Sachin Tendulkar. I know about Amitabh Bachchan ji. I know about IPL, everything. I do not know about myself. And for that reason, I don't know my purpose. Forget about purpose of life. Forget about purpose of the world, the universe, the solar system, anything. I'm not questioning. I'm not meeting myself. I mean, sorry, because this is how I felt. So I'm using these words. Maybe, this occurred to me and I'm expressing this as my words.
No. Actually, just a very quick comment because we are running out of time and Kritika has given me a permission for quick comment. So yes, exactly. That's what a very important question, Brother Harnath. And actually, that is the root question. Why everybody is looking for purpose and is there any purpose? But the thing is, we have been in the habit of looking outside, but we never question who is looking for purpose. That is, I am saying I am looking, but do we know ourselves? As Subralina ji rightly said, that do we really know ourselves? Then the rest of the things are all, thrown from to us from outside, and that is why I think this question of who am I is or soham, or this has been the greatest of meditations to ask yourself, because once I know myself, then there is no more question of finding purpose. I mean, the fire doesn't ask what is its purpose. The sun doesn't ask what is its purpose. So everything, every being that knows itself, the purpose will be like the divine purpose. It will come automatically. So just a quick comment on that. It's not an answer, but it's a proposal to ask ourselves, who am I? Thank you, Vimalji, for such a wonderful book suggesting. Thank you, Varunji, for the very nice last session and covering the overall view. And I just want to say one statement that I read somewhere. The dreams are not something that we see while sleeping. Dreams are something that do not let us sleep. So if that kind of commitment and connection and energy we have for our dreams, then there is no gap between our dreams, ideals, and realizing them. Thank you. Thank you, Kritika. Just
can I say something?
Pranshi, please make a quick comment. We are running out of time.
I was thinking in
Yes,
that
sir, after
minutes that whether we if we not achieve our purpose, we have to react with calmness, not with anger and something like that. We have to react calmly.
Very, very nice. Very nice, Pranshi. Karma Yoga, perfect Karma Yoga. Great.
एक मिनट शिखर जी, एक मिनट में बोल सकती हूँ? सुषमा श्रीवास्तव,
बस
बहुत हो गया है।
यस मैम, बस तरल सर एक बार बोलने।
नहीं, सुषमा जी को बोलने दीजिए, मैं फिर बोलूँ।
ठीक है।
Quickly, I will. सुषमा जी, please go ahead.
Okay. अभी मुझे शिखर जी की बात से याद आया कि a vision without action is a dream, and action without vision is a drudgery. But combination of vision and action is hope for humanity. तो एक तो ये बड़े पर्पस की बात हो गई। दूसरा, हम लोग डेली लिविंग में एक दिन अपने लाइफ का एक गोल बनाए, पर्पस बनाए और उसको अकम्प्लिश करें। क्योंकि जब हम इस एज पे पहुंच जाते हैं, मैं 60+ हूँ, तो मुझे लगता है कि मैं छोटे छोटे पर्पस बनाऊं कि मैं सराउंडिंग में किसको क्या जरूरत है, मैं वो उनकी पर्पस, उनके पर्पस को सॉल्व करने में अपने को अवेलेबल करा पा रही हूँ कि नहीं। अब छोटो उससे क्या होता है, खुशी मिलती है। और जय कृष्ण मूर्ति ने भी कहा था कि कलेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस इज ग्रेटर देन पर्सनल इंटेलिजेंस. Nothing great can be achieved or accomplished in life all alone. तो mastermind बन जाता है जब हम अपने इस purpose को, अपने इसको गोल को फिक्स करते हैं. बहुत सी बातें कहने की है, बहुत अच्छा वरुण जी ने प्रेजेंट किया और सुब्रलीना जी ने और शिखर जी ने जो है वो उसमें और ऐड किया. बस बहुत बातें याद आ रही थी तो मैंने कहा मैं कह दूं, नहीं तो दिन भर ये बात मन में रहेगी.
शिखर सर से यही बोल रही थी, दैट सेशन वाज सो इंटरेस्टिंग कि इवन आई वांट टू स्पीक सो मच, लेकिन टाइम हो गया है.
अरे प्लीज यू आर द मॉडरेटर एंड आफ्टर तरल जी यू कैन do with the closing comments please.
भाई मैं भी बहुत कम समय लेने की कोशिश करूंगा.
Yes, sir.
There were discussion of professional vision, professional achievement and all that. That vision is separate than what we are talking about, our inner vision or our inner self. Whenever I take a theater workshop, the person who comes for the workshop, I always give one exercise. I will give you 5 minutes. Please write 10 sentences about yourself. जब आप खुद के लिए 10 वाक्य लिखने में मुश्किलात होती है आपको, जब ऐसा लगता है कि I cannot write 10 sentences about my inner thing, then that is the time you have to think that maybe you have no vision in your life except sleeping, eating, whatever the normal duties are. That may be your vision. Now, today Varun gave a wonderful talk, and as usual, something came to my mind. So I'll share those 4 or 5 lines and end quickly. भविष्य के उजाले में जब देख सकती है हमारी नजर भविष्य के नजारे, भविष्य के उजाले में जब देख सकती है हमारी नजर भविष्य के नजारे, तब आप देख सकेंगे स्वयं के भी भविष्य के नजारे, तब आप देख सकेंगे स्वयं के भी भविष्य के नजारे. एक आदर्श जो मन में पल बढ़ रहा हो, एक आदर्श जो मन में पल बढ़ रहा हो, वह आदर्श आपके दिल में साथ साथ राज भी कर रहा हो. वही आदर्श आपके दिल में साथ साथ राज भी कर रहा हो, वही बनाएगा आपके भविष्य की इमारत, वही बनाएगा आपके भविष्य की इमारत. और तुम इससे बन पाओगे एक आदर्श तुम, और तुम इससे बन पाओगे एक आदर्श तुम. भविष्य के उजाले में जब देख सकती है हमारी नजर भविष्य के नजारे, तब आप देख सकेंगे स्वयं के भविष्य के नजारे. शांत चित्त हो, सेरेनिटी की बात हुई. शांत चित्त हो, पा लेने को व्याकुल मन हो. शांत चित्त हो मगर पा लेने को व्याकुल मन हो. दिल में उमंग हो, कुछ पा लेने का दिली आनंद हो. मन में उमंग हो, कुछ पा लेने का दिली आनंद हो. एक सोच को हकीकत में बदलने का, एक सोच को हकीकत में बदलने का जुनून हो. एक सोच को हकीकत में बदलने का जुनून हो. एक सोच पर समर्पित जीवन भर बढ़ने का संकल्प हो. एक सोच पर समर्पित जीवन भर बढ़ने का संकल्प हो. तब आप देख सकेंगे स्वयं के भविष्य के नजारे और पा लेंगे वही भविष्य जो आज की सोच में है, आपके दिल में है, आपके मन में. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Taral sir. Taral sir is back. So, okay, Brother Harnath is asking, I feel it is having insight always will give you right purpose for this life, but is it possible to have that insight always on? It's only possible only when you have state of serenity and meditative. So, जैसे कि सुषमा ने भी बोला, और I feel that right from the start, we are always running, like school, college, job, and then promotion. But after retirement, when we have nothing to do, then we start realizing कि अब क्या करना है. Then life becomes tough because we never took a pause, we never meditated, we are always running. So we never thought of actually the purpose, because for us at that time purpose was school में top करना है, college में अच्छा rank लाना है, we have to get a job. So I think we never focus on the purpose. At least we youth, we always run after goals. So I think we should take a pause and think. जैसे कि सुषमा ने बोला कि we should have a daily purpose. other than studying for 2 hours or accomplishing something. We should have a purpose which should be of more importance than all these things we run after. So, okay, Shikhar sir is writing. So let us always try to remain in meditative and serene attitude. Yes. Brother Varun, hats off. Today's session was so energetic and so interesting that it is 8:45. It has actually never happened, and we have to further discuss also about the YIT timings and all. But I want to speak so much. And today, really, this book is something. Thank you so much, Sister Vimal. You brought this book. So, is there any, I'll ask for the last time, is there anybody else who wants to suggest something or share their views?
We have to only thank the President Tim Boyd, because he was the one who mentioned this book.
Then I will write a big note, because I am really so much inspired with this book.
So
I think, yeah, sorry.
No.
Yes.
No. I was saying.
I think Hatnaji is still fighting it for his insight, and he wrote that, is it always on? Shikharji said, yeah, it is always on. Sairamji said it is always on. I also said it is always on, but we don't realize it. Like, we are seeing so many things just now on the screen from our eyes, but do we realize that what we are seeing? So that is the only difference, Hartnathji. The insight is there inside you also. Just you have to see from a vision which can see your insight. Thank you.
Okay, Kritika. Sorry, I mean, if you can close, then, because I think people have to go also, so we'll have discussion.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Brother Varun.
Thank you.
It is just the time constraint. Otherwise, had I been given time, I wouldn't have stopped this meeting. But thank you so much for making the session so energetic, so interesting, and we have all learned so many new things. So thank you so much. So let us sit in meditation for a minute, and then we'll proceed. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you so much, Brother Varun, for delivering such a wonderful and such interesting talk.